Hi, this is the third of four missionary interviews to support our discussion of how do I have a relationship with Jesus and the doctrine of salvation. They are serving all over the world in very different cultural and religious contexts, and our conversations were a great encouragement to me. I hope they will encourage you too, and that we will embrace the call to make disciples right here in our home context. For this interview, I spoke with my friend Pam, who has been serving in the Middle East for 7 years. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Tell me about yourself and the work that you do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so my name's Pam. I'm from Texas. I live in a country in the Middle East. I've lived here for about 4 years. And I'm here with a team that has a heart for the lost, specifically here in our country, in our context. And we want to see disciples make disciples that in turn have people gather and form church, and church ultimately then transforming the community here
Mm.
and the people and the country and this region, which those are like big ideas and like a big heart. But anyway, so that is how I spend a lot of my time, or is doing things that are focused in that direction with my team of people. So
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
So tell me about the spiritual context of your current mission field. Like, are they
Yeah.
interested in spiritual things? Are they
Yeah,
closed to
so
spiritual
so
conversation?
what's interesting here, religion is so tied to the country. Islam is very big. We have Sunni and Shia groups here. There's some Druze population, which is a religion, but also kind of an ethnicity as well. And then Christians, you got Orthodox and Maronite and Catholic background people. So religion really is the basis of this country, and it shapes everything. It's written on your, driver's license, your ID card, your passport. I'll meet people and they'll say, I'm Muslim. And then you start talking to them and then they'll be like, well, I'm Buddhist. Or like you'll talk to someone and say, like, yeah, I'm a Christian. And then you keep talking and they're like, well, I'm an atheist. I don't believe there's a God. And it's because
Mm,
religion is more tied to your identity. And like it's like me saying I'm American, or me saying that I'm um like Hispanic. It's like that. So anyway, um, so to some degree, everyone is consumed in thinking about spirituality because that's a huge part of religion. But I think because it's so ingrained in like identity and the government and political parties and things like this, that
mm,
I don't know if people are necessarily spiritually interested or open or seeking a lot of times, because they're like, no, I believe what I've been told my whole life. This is it. This is who I am. I don't even have thoughts about changing that. Like it's
yeah.
not, yeah. So you will occasionally meet some interested people, but overall it's like kind of a dry place, if that answers your question.
Yeah, that was a follow-up was how does that affect your ability to start a spiritual conversation with someone?
Yeah, so to some degree, you can really quickly jump into religion, and that's normal. People are not, I mean, honestly, people start those kinds of conversations with me. I'll be talking to them, they'll know I'm American, and they immediately assume I'm a Christian. And so then they'll say, like, well, like similar to how you think and believe in Jesus, like we believe in Muhammad. And it's
Mm,
like they're just already making assumptions about me and my faith based on where I'm from. So sometimes they start the conversations themselves. So
yeah.
sometimes jumping in can be easier to some degree, because it's at the forefront of everything. But that doesn't necessarily mean it leads to openness or interest.
Hmm.
Sometimes people can really double down. People can get pretty argumentative about
Mm,
things. Again, just like it's like a personal offense.
yeah.
Not just like, and in no way do I ever try to speak in a way that's attacking, but to them, it's like you're attacking like my
Yeah.
family, my home, my
Yeah.
land, things like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Deeply ingrained.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So describe what evangelism looks like for your context. Like, do you go gather neighbors in your apartment building? Do you have a college campus that you access? Strangers in a coffee shop or a mall? How do
Yeah.
you approach people?
Honestly, kind of like everything. I
Yeah.
feel like it depends season to season. I feel like it depends on, yeah, I don't know, but like, yeah, so like different things that are like as I'm just going in my life, as like I'm interacting with people and have moments to either share briefly something or
So
pray
like
for
gym,
someone.
grocery store.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So that's something that's just like as it's happening. Lately I have been spending a lot of time in this cafe that is attached to a university that's not far from where I live. And I'll just like go like 2 or 3 times a week and sit in there and like work on my laptop or like read a book. And I'll like ask to like sit with people or like at this point now I have friends there. So like when I see some students I know, they're like, come sit with us and I'll come sit with them. And yesterday something I did was with some girls that I hadn't seen, maybe they hadn't come to the cafe in like a month or two. So I'm sitting, we're catching up, and I was like, guys, I saw on Instagram the other day this like set of fun, interesting questions. Let's answer some together. And
Hmm.
they're just like more thought-provoking ones, like like what's a deal breaker for you in a relationship, or what's a life philosophy you have? Describe it in 10 words or less, or just like stuff like that that like gets a little bit
Yeah.
deep. And then we end up talking about prayer, we end up talking about depression, we end up talking about like Muslims and Christians and saints and can we pray to them? Like it just was like a fun conversation. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that was just from me going up and showing like being a regular at a place, if that makes sense
Yeah.
something. Also too, other things like sometimes like just going on prayer walks in different areas with not like an intention necessarily to meet someone, but if I have like this pull or like just feel like a desire, like I really want to talk to that person, like maybe I will or offer to pray for them. One time specifically, well, not one time. This has happened a lot, but like an example I'll give specifically is I was prayer walking with a teammate of mine and we like got to this group of guys and we sometimes something we'll do is like we'll just like let's just like pray and like be silent for a minute. So we did that. And I really just for some reason was like I think that one of the men here has like a daughter who's sick. And so my teammate was like, "Well, who?" And he was like, "I don't know." So we were quiet again and I was like I think it's one of these two guys. He's like, "I think it's that guy," which was one of the two. So anyway, again, theologically, I don't know where this falls for some people, but some people would say maybe like word of knowledge or anyway. So we go up to him, we approach him, and turns out, yeah, like he has a daughter who had was born without like with like an issue with her arm or her hand. And so we were like, can we come pray for her? So he says yes. So he invites us over to his house. We go to his house, we pray for her. We don't see her healed, but like she's crying and just like expressed a lot of her emotions and feelings about being isolated, alone, all these kind of things. So we got to visit them several times and share with them a lot. And anyway, as of today, they're not super interested still. But that's just another example of like, yeah, so sometimes meeting in people's homes or inviting people over, or like something I also did was I went through a trauma curriculum with some girls
Mm.
that had like some Bible stories integrated into it. And like that was something. So anyway, that was a long way to answer your question, but one thing I will say in this category though that I think I fall in a different place today than maybe I did 7 years ago is that like I don't know how to say this. Like God's made us all differently, and we all bring different things to the table. So, for example, one of my teammates, I really think he has the gift of teaching. He is studying theology. He just really knows how to dive deep, answer so many theological questions, and like so he'll sit with people for hours and just answer a lot of
Mm.
questions. And like, he's really good at that. Me, honestly, something that people tell me is they'll be like, there's like a shininess to you. There's like a brightness. Like we want you here with us. Like, and so I know that like I'm wanted in spaces and like for like relationship. And so anyway, I think that like I don't need to be Carlos and Carlos doesn't need to be me, but
Mm,
just like trusting that God's given us certain giftings and wirings to like show up and let those come out naturally and don't try to like fit too much into a box that maybe isn't you, you know.
yeah.
Anyway, but that doesn't mean don't push yourself or
Yeah.
stay comfortable, but like yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Embrace your giftings. Yeah, I absolutely see
yeah.
that in you for sure.
Oh, thanks. Oh,
Definitely.
thanks. That's sweet of you. Thanks.
So do you find it easier to practice evangelism in your current context or in your home community in
Honestly, it feels this like it's not the same in the sense of the way it goes, but the level of ease or hardness kind of feels the same. I
mm,
think that there are things here that are easier, and there are things here that are harder, and then there are things back when I was in the States that felt easier or harder. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, I don't know. I think that that's yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, but I can expand on that more if you want, but I think at the end of the day, it's easy and hard for different reasons, and it feels kind of the same
yeah,
as far as that goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes we think that it's easier to share people who aren't like sent to long-term mission fields. Like
Yeah.
it can feel easier when you're already out of your comfort zone on a short-term trip to
Yeah.
step out in courage. And so I didn't know if y'all
Yeah.
long-term missionaries felt that way too.
Yeah. I think yeah, maybe to some degree that is one of the little bit easier aspects of it, but I mean, man, I just like I my Arabic's like good, but I just like
Mm,
cannot express so many ideas or thoughts or heart things from my heart really well still.
yeah,
And so that's just like a barrier for sure, you know,
yeah.
that feels harder for me. And I
Yeah.
think to some degree always will be, especially being a Westerner. There's like a certain way that
Mhm.
people look at you, and think that they already know what you believe.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that part for sure. That does feel right. It's not like yeah. But at the end of the day, this is my home now too. So I
Hmm.
share with my neighbor here and then I see that person every day all the time.
Yeah.
You know, versus like a short-term trip. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'll see these people again maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
No consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. So second to last question. Um, North America is a lot more lost than people realize.
yeah.
If you were to brainstorm a strategy for us to go here, kind of along the lines of how your team engages with your context,
Yeah.
if you were to apply that to us in our context, what would you have us do? Where would you have us go? How would you have us
Yeah,
train?
yeah, for
Just,
sure.
short little.
Yeah, I think again, similar to what I said before, like knowing yourselves, self and some of your giftings and wirings and like how do you come alive in those things. I do think it is helpful to like know parts of your story and be able to share them with comfort and
Mhm.
ease and maybe like shorter-ish, concise ways, you know, or stories from the Bible like that feel relevant to a conversation or being curious about people, like practice asking good questions, those kinds of things. I think also like something is like if you like to do something, show up and like be a part of a group that does that regularly. Like if you like join a book club that's not doesn't have believers or a bowling league if you like that. You know, like I
Yeah.
don't know, like I just like putting yourself where you are interacting and so for some people, they already have this consistently. But if you don't consistently have spaces where you're engaging with lost people, make those spaces, like join those spaces. And I think at the end of the day, our church has been reading through the Sermon on the Mount and just talking a lot about righteousness. And righteousness isn't just about like this right relationship with God, but this right relationship
Mhm.
with each other. And so I think that living from a place of radical love that's like extreme and crazy, like Matthew 5 through 7 talk about, um, I do think that does end up coming out too,
Mm.
you know, and showing people who Jesus is and being and looking different. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those things. Yeah,
Oh,
I just love hearing about your work. And
oh, thanks. Thanks for having
um,
me.
how can we support the work that you do?
But I feel like even just a big prayer request in general is that, yeah, that the people would have their eyes open and their ears open and want to just like thirst. Yeah, I think people are thirsty and maybe just don't even know.
Mm,
And so that there would be people who are wanting, uh, yeah, wanting Jesus.
yeah,
So, yeah.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I really
Sure, of
appreciate it.
course. Thanks for asking me all the questions.
Yeah.